Guys, it's Ashley here, and last Friday I got the chance to interview David Amess, who's the MP for the Southend West constituency, and I was so nervous. Like, I cannot tell you how much I was trying to contain my nerves. But the thing that worked for me is initially at the beginning, before we did the interview, I told him, I was honest with him that I was nervous, but he was so understanding, and it was actually a really enjoyable experience having the chance to interview him. So I will insert the clip of the interview in the same video, and I hope you guys enjoy.
I was born in the East End of London,
yes.
Where everything was Labour. 100% Labour Council, Labour GLC member, Labour government, Labour MP, been there for 40 years. And as a small child, the area where I was living, I saw deteriorating. I knew nothing about politics, but something within me told me to oppose the way things were. And that's how it started. Oh. And at the age of 11, I decided I wanted to be a Member of Parliament. It wasn't parental influence, it wasn't reading a book, it was just something within me.
So immediately you were always swayed by the Conservative Party?
Well, yeah. I mean, it could have been any party. It was the party opposing Labour, and it was the Conservative Party. Well, to win in 1983, a lifetime's ambition come true. The highlights are many.
What about specifically as the MP for the Southend West?
Much easier to talk about Basildon. Because in those days it was easier to get things done, really, than it has been in Southend.
Why? How so?
Because Parliament has changed. 31 years ago I had much more power than I've got now. I stopped an A&E unit closing with 2 days to go. I stopped 3 schools closing. I stopped a silver birch forest being cut down. I got 10,000 homes which had been sold. There were council properties repurchased. I couldn't do that now because we just don't have the power anymore. So I struggle a bit. But the highlights, I think, as far as Southend are concerned, it's really more to do with individual people. I've been able to help individual people, but because it's private and confidential, dealing with constituents' problems, I can't really name them.
And now from being like a teacher and controlling a school and the classroom, would you say that's comparable to being in the House of Commons?
Well, I'm now on the chairman's panel, one of the Speaker's deputies, so I do chair things and I say order, order and control.
It can get a bit rowdy in there sometimes.
It can. Well, next week or the week after I'm chairing the Consumers Bill. So this is a bill which has been in the national news, all to do with payday loans and people being missold loans, and I will actually be chairing the bill. In my time as an MP, well, I can talk about a couple of specifics in Southend. When I became the MP, people were queuing up to take their children out of Belfair School. Oh, wow. People were queuing up to take their children out of Eastwood High School. Now, those 2 schools are queuing up to get their children in there. Chase has been on a difficult journey. They were Prittlewell School under the wonderful leadership of a head called Margaret Barr. When she retired, the school got into great difficulties. And when a school gets a bad reputation, it takes about 10 years to turn it round. And that really is the journey that Chase High School is going on at the moment. But I've got every confidence in the head, and I think she will turn it round.
The Education Secretary, he recently made a statement about whether old disciplinary methods should be reintroduced into school systems. What do you think about that? He mentioned perhaps reintroducing writing lines on the blackboard, or picking up litter in the weekends. Do you think we should reintroduce these?
Oh, look. I've not had a conversation with what he did or didn't say at the weekend, and so far I've only received 1 letter of a person who's taken offence that it doesn't want their child to go to a 10-hour a day school. I don't know the reality of it, but what I can tell you categorically is I think when wrong, that are wrong, they should be punished. I mean, they should
True.
be rewarded. It's absolutely stupid.
Oh, you do realise that a lot when I used to be maybe year 9. I think that's the kind of year when kids are more, you know, rowdy.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's
I was punished as a child. It didn't do me any harm. I hope I know the difference between right or wrong, so of course there should be punishments. But I don't know the minutiae of lines and staying in detention. I mean, I wouldn't have a clue how you punish children today. Probably you'd punish them by taking their computer away or their mobile phone away. I mean, these are the things they seem to enjoy doing now. So I think it's moved on a lot, but I absolutely applaud rewarding people when they're doing good things, encouraging them, very, very important. But when they do things wrong, which impact on others, they must certainly be punished.
Indeed. And the Conservative Party, you see, it's often ridiculed for being appealing towards the older generation. And I was wondering, what is the Conservative Party doing to try and eradicate this stigma of the grey vote, so that it can encourage younger people to vote Conservative rather than other parties?
But let me deal with the grey vote.
Yes.
What is going on here? We're living longer.
Indeed.
Everyone's living longer. So are we going to ignore people who are over 60 or 65? This is a grown group of people. What is the point of us enabling people to live longer and then saying they don't count? So I think it's gone too far the other way. Everything is becoming too young. Our leaders, chief executives, is absolutely crazy. So I've got a lot of sympathy for those people who don't feel valued anymore, and particularly when part of our objective is that people should be given the opportunity to work as long as they want. Now, dealing with young people and getting them interested, not in my party, but in politics, full stop, is a big challenge. Because people now, and it's a little bit like what I've said to you earlier, when I started 31 years ago, I could get things done for people. It's more challenging. So it could be that youngsters feel, well, what's the point of me getting involved in politics or voting for an MP because I haven't got any power? So I welcome engaging with young people. That's why we have a youth mayor and a youth mayoress here. I think there's lots and lots of things that can be done, but I know from my own 5 children how difficult it is to engage with young people.
Indeed.
In terms of politics.
It is. But there are some who are interested.
There are some, like your good
Such as
self.
myself.
And I celebrate that fact.
And I'll close this with saying that this is the most interrogative question of all. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I don't do breakfast.
You don't do breakfast?
Many people, it's the most important
it is the
meal
most
of the
important,
day.
Seamus.
I am a teaholic, and that's why I'm drinking tea now.
Oh, I really don't know how people
So
just do
I'm sorry
liquids.
to disappoint you there, but the family, they love their cereals, perhaps they cook breakfast.